Christine!
The year is 1988, and The Phantom of the Opera has just opened on Broadway only 2 years after its premiere in London's West End. It's a total smash, receiving the Tony Award for Best Musical its first year on Broadway, along with numerous other awards and accolades. However, that's not what it's known for. The Phantom himself is known for many things, but famous for only one. He's the guy with the mask, right? Eric's mask is one of the most ubiquitous symbols in theater, and rightly so. That mask is demonstrative of a long line of tradition and history, reaching all the way back to ancient Greece. It's the 5th century, and the cult of Dionysus is really starting to find themselves. They've recently established the Bacchae, and had been practicing the Dionysian mysteries for a good long time by then. The cult began to worship in a new way, with the construction and creation of the Theater of Dionysus. It was in these theaters that the most archaic form of European theater mask is found. These masks were used to portray an array of gods, but mainly Dionysus. This is still his cult, after all. As time passed, this ancient Greek tradition did not waver, and instead was luckily carried into the Middle Ages, where masks were used in a different kind of worship. Instead of being used in pagan theater, Christian renditions of biblical prose utilized masks to stand in for demons, dragons, and all sorts of other sinful characters. The masks boasted a unique style which is often seen in Mardi Gras celebration in the modern day. Aside from biblical productions, masks were used in ballet de cour, a type of British ballet with heavy influences from musical theater. These ballerinas would wear masks reminiscent of masquerade masks, which were in trend for the time amongst nobles and other high-ranking members of society. The British were not the only group to utilize masks in their entertainment, as clearly demonstrated by one group in particular, the Italians. During the 16th and 18th centuries, Italian thespians utilized masks to portray an array of stock characters that would then be used in improvisational comedies. This practice was referred to as commedia dell'arte, in which the stock character, wearing a unique mask, would improvise entire plays based on current topical issues and romance, always coordinating with the stock characters. At the same time, the practice of using neutral masks to train their actors was growing in popularity. Although the practice was used in ancient Greece, it momentarily dipped in popularity before resuming its place as a tried and true form of teaching exaggerated body language and expression. These masks continued to be used in training through the early 1900s, where masks went through a dramatic drop in popularity. There were only a few notable shows which made any use of them, such as The Great God Brown by Eugene O'Neill, which premiered in 1926. The Great God Brown used masks to represent internal characterization and emotions, as they changed numerous times throughout the show. This surreal direction was representative of an overall theme for the time. Masks were mostly used in avant-garde performances, such as the German production
Die versunkene Glocke
or The Sunken Bell by Gerhard Hauptmann, which came out just before the 1900s, debuting in 1897. The masked performances were far and few between, showing up sporadically in different continents during the time period, but they were present nonetheless. Sadly, the same cannot be said for modern times, where masks are all but forgotten, except for in a few vital cases. The most notable, as mentioned at the top of the video, is The Phantom of the Opera, a Gothic melodrama by Andrew Lloyd Webber. This show needs no introduction from me and has stolen the hearts of thespians and theatergoers alike for decades. Eric, the Phantom, wears a half mask, which is reminiscent of masquerade masks, and is allegedly inspired by the masks worn by deformed soldiers following World War I. The Phantom of the Opera serves as a prevalent cornerstone of false faces in theater. Sadly, the infamy is justified due to its uniqueness, with only a paltry few Eurocentric shows in modern times containing any mask. Nowadays, they're mostly reserved to trained actors, as they have been throughout history. It's a sordid history, by all standards. Masks have been on a downward spiral, only experiencing a brief uptick in popularity due to The Phantom. With its show leaving Broadway, the state of masks in European and American theater seems, fraught. Masks were originally used to worship and revere the deities which we held closest to us, to uphold things that humans cannot accurately represent on their own. This transitioned to be representative of all sorts of otherworldly concepts and creatures, allowing a suspension of disbelief that will be sorely missed. Deities and devils, hilariously unrealistic stock characters, the inner machinations of mankind. All of these things can be surreally portrayed in a way that is unique to the masks chosen and carefully and lovingly constructed for them.